Hey guys, Jennuine Love, checking in for tonight's Facebook Live event. And I'm going to bring our guest speaker. Eugene, is that you on there now? Man, we practiced this yesterday. And, okay. All right. Hey, you guys, just come on in the room. Get settled in. Just pretend like we're all sitting around hanging out together, because that's pretty much what we're doing. All right, Eugene, I see you in there. It should have the invite. I invited you, so let's see if you see that in the corner somewhere. Do you see it? Or make a comment, Eugene, and then maybe it'll let me click and invite. Okay, I see you in the corner. Let's see. I see, like, I can see your little icon in the corner, but it's not letting me click it or do anything with it. Try to post a comment if you can, and then let me invite you from that space, if it'll let us do that. Hey Wes, glad to have you guys just come on this Facebook Live thing. I'm still trying to figure out how to bring people on, and okay. Yeah, it's not, Eugene, I'm clicking on it. It's not letting me do anything. Do you not see an invite? It's asking me to let Wes come on. Let's see. Can you imagine? We literally just practiced this yesterday. Hey, Wes. I don't understand. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so it's saying, Eugene, that I already sent the invite. So I'm not sure what to do from here. But anyhow, one of my, it's just funny because, perfectionism is one of those things. Hey, AJ, perfectionism is like one of those things, isn't it? Where we think that everything has to be perfect before we can go. And so here I am like, why isn't it letting me do it? But let's see. Eugene, I am clicking on your picture in the top corner, but it's not doing anything. And I see your comment, but when I click on it, it's just saying pin the comment or delete the comment. It's not letting me bring you on camera. But I wonder, see if you can play around if you see anything that says ask to be on camera, because I know that there's an option where you can ask to come on camera when you're watching a live, because where it's asking me to invite, like I can see there's other people that I can invite right now, but there's nothing letting me pick you because I already picked you. So I don't know how to like resend the invite because it's not letting me do that. Yeah, I'm trying to invite you, but it says already invited. I wonder, do we need to like hang up and call back? This is Facebook Live, but maybe I need to stop it and start it again, because it's not letting me. Like next to Wes's name, it says bring them on camera. but I don't see that next to your name at all. What do you think, Eugene? You think I should just end it and then start it over? Okay. Okay, now it says bring. Okay, now it's letting me.
Ta-da!
Yay!
God
Can you imagine that? We just got to keep going through all of that. But here you
time.
are. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. We got a few people in the room already. Um,
What's going on, Lonzo? What's going on, Wes?
Near and dear to my heart, but
Oh, Alfonso, my bad, brother, my bad.
well, we just call him AJ. Those of us that,
Hey, Jeezy.
yeah. Good to have them here. Both of them are near and dear to my heart. So this is
Awesome.
I just wanted to kind of let people get on. Glad that you were able to connect and come through. Glad to have everyone
Yeah, there's just
here.
a small lag in the time that it comes on my side. So when you do it, we gotta just give it time and let it kick in.
Got you. Got you. AJ said you got it. Okay, so we're a few minutes in. I don't want to wait too long, but I just want to let people kind of get in. Um, I just wanted to remind everybody the first 10 people that RSVP'd and show up on the Facebook Live, and I am keeping, I have a list of your names, but you'll be able to get a complimentary coaching call with me, a 30-minute coaching call. So that's the first giveaway. But then remember, if you stay till the end, both Eugene and myself are going to give away a gift that goes along with what we're going to be talking about tonight. So it's something that will help you, begin to put into practice what you're learning here tonight, right? A few more people are popping on. So yeah, I just wanted to let them know that about the free gifts, and we're not going to tell them to the end. It's going to be a surprise.
Mm.
Definitely going to be a surprise. But anyhow, yeah. So let's get in here a little bit. I want to make sure that I got my notes. I usually try to just wing it, but I found that writing things down is helpful, especially when you get excited, right?
Hmm.
And you get to going, and you're like, oh God, on a tangent. But for those of you, I did post in the group event earlier. I want you to be introduced formally to my dear friend who has just seen me and believes in me and just stepped up to support me. And for that, I thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart. And it
My
feels
great pleasure.
good. Thank you. It feels good to be seen and supported in sharing your gifts, because it is scary to step out and just begin to share. So when we can connect with others who see our light and want to help us, shine our light, that's a very valuable person. Like you want to hold on to those connections. So again, thank you, brother. And those of
Yep.
you who are watching, Eugene, I mean, he's not some fly by night guy that just popped up on the scene. He's been practicing yoga with both private clients and businesses in the Miami Beach area since 2008. And he uses his practice is based on, breath work and mantras and the divine spiritual wisdom, right? Mantras are one of my favorite things. And just, hey, Blair, um, the mantras are so powerful. And just a little side note teaser, he creates mantra beats that are just rocking my world. I mean, these mantras, they're in my psyche, brother. I love them so, so much. So if you like
Oh, that's good.
mantras, love mantras, curious about mantras, and you like, some good, cool beats, he is your man. So it's not just music, it's healing music, and, you're going to love those. And the thing that I love about Eugene is that he has mastered the art of practical teaching and application. He's been able to take the airy fairy and make it practical, doable, into action steps. And so that is very powerful. And Eugene is passionate about helping people feel themselves, mind, body, and spirit, right? Mind, body, and emotions. Because as our brother says, if you ain't feeling it, the it is you. So we got to get back to feeling ourselves and knowing, that we are powerful and being in our power. And part of that, bringing it back to the topic of tonight's Facebook Live, is learning how to control our triggers, because it is not a matter of if you're going to get triggered, it's a matter of when, right? So Eugene, I'm going to let you say hi to the crowd, and then we'll get started.
How's everyone doing? Everyone live and those that catch this talk after we've already recorded it. Um, Name's Eugene Gant. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I was a paralegal for many years, and within that time, stressing. I was got sick, and I was in my 20s, like going through it. And decided to go into yoga and meditation, and just so I can avoid the doctors and the bills and experimentations on my body. And I'll do my own experiments the natural way, and I was able to heal myself of some wild things, and just decided to dedicate my life to serving people, because I know I didn't have a clue as to the simplicity um, uh, that you can experience while healing yourself. It's not complicated it's just discipline and focus, and knowing that you want to feel your best to do your best. So I don't go into a big long. I want to get into our topic, but I love what I do. I serve people because that is, I think, one of the highest things you can do in this world. One of the best things you can do for your soul, and the fastest way to learn and to grow and to accumulate abundance is to serve people. So when we were talking about this subject, the majority of my clients, 85% of my clients, are dealing with the result of being triggered, or the result of having old trauma, new trauma, whatever, brought up and not knowing what to do with it. And then the body keeps the score, and you know how that goes. Once that score gets too big, you lose. So I'm just super excited to be able to share this space with you, someone that is one of the true empaths. Everybody's empathic, but you actually have that. You embody that as the divine feminine, and it's just very healing, especially for your sisters, as well as men that you touch. That you help us open up in a way that is important for us to stay around. That whole myth about men dying before women, that's a myth. If you believe it, it'll be true. And I think that if we're able to translate a lot of our emotions and the things that we have as men and we go through, we can support you. We can show up for our women, and show up for our families, and show up for ourselves, what we want to accomplish. So this is just great work, and you will always have me in your corner when you're doing work like this. So again, I appreciate you, and I'm excited to get to it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate those.
Hmm.
Appreciate the
Yes.
heartfelt words for sure.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say, to those watching live, and if you catch it on the replay, any questions that might come up for you. Even if you don't feel comfortable, putting them in the chat box, that's fine. You can feel free to reach out on my messenger, and I'll do my best to answer that question. And so, just before, hey Brianna, before we get started, just know like this is a safe space. Like we're not doing this live because we're like so ascended and we have all the answers. No, we're doing this because we care about humanity, and we're being brave like everybody else and stepping out and sharing, hey, this is where I was, this is what I did, this is where I'm at now. And maybe it will work for you and maybe it won't. I'm pretty sure it will, but this is something that you can try, right? Hey Mark. So I had made a little post earlier asking what people think triggers are, and that's just, hey Ramon, that's where I want to start is like, what are triggers first? So before we even move into that, I'll share what I feel like a trigger is, and then Eugene, I'll give you a chance to chime in. So for me, um, a trigger is like, simply put, it's something that is said or done. When something is said or done and it activates old trauma that's stored in your subconscious, in your psyche. And trauma, that word gets thrown around a lot too. Side note, anything, like, it doesn't have to be some, big, bad, scary thing that, there can be what people would say, oh, well, that was nothing. But if it caused you to shut down in your body and in your mind and in your emotions, like that created trauma in your body. So don't discredit, oh, it was nothing. Allow yourself to have permission to even examine the fact that you could have trauma stored in your body. And not could, 99.9% you do, So and then when certain things are said and done, it activates that. And it's a lot of times we're unaware, right? It's like they we call it out of nowhere, it got triggered, right? But anyhow, so that's what I would say. Hey Jael, Eugene, what would you say? What are triggers?
I mean that's a pretty good explanation. I think also along with the traumas, especially if you look into our current environment right now
Right.
on whatever platform you're in the stores, whatever, it's also ideas that we associate ourselves with, literally our lives. Like it doesn't matter if you're religious or you're political or environmental or whatever thing you're into. Sometimes we tend to attach ourselves to those ideas, and if there's any countering to those ideas or something comes up and it may prove that idea maybe not be right, there's also a trigger there too. So
That's good. Yeah.
not only is it physical and emotional, but it's mental. People get caught up. So
Mhm.
it happens. It happened to me a couple of days ago. So I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said in the beginning, it's not if you get triggered, it's when. You don't get spiritual or enlightened enough to not ever feel a trigger. Now, granted, you can
Hmm.
find, and that's the goal of this thing, is ways to deal with them that are way healthier and don't wreck your freaking life, but they're there. And so where do triggers come from? Well, in my perspective, simply put, in my experience, they can come from anywhere at any time. It doesn't, it can be, a certain person, a certain situation, a certain song, a certain, like, you don't know. It's not like, okay, 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, you will be triggered at the water cooler with your coworkers. That's not how this thing works. You know what I mean? So it just, you have to know in real time what to do, and we are going to get there. But just know that triggers can come from anywhere at any time. You can feel triggered at anywhere at any time for any reason. And I would just kind of say like a bullet point up under that note would be, um, there are certain things that can make you feel more reactive when you're triggered. So if you're hungry, if you're sleepy, if you're already, kind of having a bad day, if you just got in a fight with your boss, and then so, like, so you could be like, well, that just same thing happened last week, and I didn't flip out, but you weren't exhausted last week. You didn't, you weren't in that mental space. So again, give yourself permission. There's no timeline and straight line to healing work. There's not. Anybody that tells you that's lying, so just give yourself permission to, know that they do come up. They can come from anywhere, and that at certain times you might be able to handle it better than others, and that has to be okay, right? So Eugene, would you add anything to that, like where you think triggers can come from?
Nope, I think that's great. I think that's great. Um, maybe just sometimes from even us, from
Right.
maybe thinking thinking recklessly. When I mean recklessly, like thinking about stuff you don't want that you don't want to happen, or the what ifs that lead us down rabbit holes that boom, and then we go into it. But other than that, yeah, I feel you on that one for
Right.
sure.
And so the next thing is like examining how triggers affect us, um they do affect us physically, mentally, spiritually. They affect us. So for me, when I'm feeling in that triggered space, physically, like my head gets hot, my chest like tightens up, I get sweaty palms, my heart starts racing. I'll try to be talking, but I can't get a lot of words out because there's a shortness of breath. So this is physically what happens to me when I'm in that triggered reactive space, right? And then mentally, I start it starts causing me to feel like stress and frustration and anger, and feeling like I need to defend myself and make them understand that what they think is not what's right. You know what I mean? Um, and then, spiritually, if you allow yourself to continually be in that knee jerk reactive space when you're triggered, you're blocking all of your blessings. And this isn't to blame you or to blame me. It's just for us to take accountability, because we're blaming God. You're taking too long. We're blaming this. We're blaming that. Oh, I'm the anomaly in the universe. All these, things don't work for me. They do, but we have to learn how to be in a space where, spirit can flow through. And when all of our waters are just muddy with all of this ick, it's really, hard for that flow to come on through. And again, stay with us for the entirety. We're not ripping the band-aid off and leaving you, you know what I'm saying? So stay with us the whole way, because this Facebook Live is a journey into the healing process. Open up your heart and mind, and let it be that, right? So what would Eugene, would you say anything like physically, mentally, spiritually, like how do you feel like these, triggers can affect us on those three planes?
Well, I mean, let's start with the physical. Usually that's what brings clients into the to my sphere for healing. So when you are triggered, your fight or flight system is your limbic system is activated. So you're releasing adrenals into the body. So that can be anything from high blood pressure. Um, if you've got pre-existing conditions, they can be exaggerated, like asthma or any type of, especially respiratory, because most of the time when you are angry, sad, triggered, in a heightened emotional state, your breathing is very short.
Mhm.
So you're cutting the oxygen supply off from now. Your hands and feet get cold, sweaty, right? You're saying like the blood is now trying to flow toward places that are that are being affected by the adrenals in your blood. So it's got to start clean. It's trying to clean you out. So it's going to pull from the extremities of your body. Um, so the physical body is the most blatant way where it just forces you to get into a heightened state of, man, I really need to change something. Emotionally, you're all over the place. Like you can't help but be upset. You can't help but be mad or sad. Um, and that's based off of what you're thinking about what's being said. What trauma has come up for you, you have a specific thought about it. So some people find that they get caught in almost like a cyclical type of negative thinking habit where they can't get out of that rut. They can't get out of that cycle of, oh my God, this, like you said, this is me. I must be the only one going through this pain. Or
Right.
we feel that. We feel that it's a very unique thing, but it's not. It's all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And spiritually, I mean, in regards to the spirit itself, I just think it blocks us from our spirit. We feel that perceived block. I'll say even we feel that perceived separation from who we really are, and it's that's the scariest thing for me. That's the scariest thing because when you block yourself from yourself, hope, joy, love, faith, all that stuff, you don't feel the presence of it, so it gets a little scary in there.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's just help me keep an eye on the time too, brother. That's one of the
Yes.
things I think why a lot of people don't really want to talk about stuff like this. It's because it's like, oh,
Hmm.
law of attraction, positive vibes only, and let's just be in that space. But in order to have positive vibes, they have to be real. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's
That's right.
like this is a real part of healing. And I've had so many people like that message me just since we've been, talking about not this live, but in the last week since I've been bringing this up. Thank you for talking about this, they're saying, because it's like everybody wants to just kind of brush over it and be like, well, we don't want to talk about that because that's not high vibration. But you don't go and build a house until you clear the foundation. It doesn't matter if a
That's
house has
right.
been built there
That's
before.
right.
You still clear the foundation. You're tilling dirt, you're clearing, sticks and debris and things out of the way in order to have a solid foundation. So it's not about
Mm.
digging up all of these old wounds and talking about what triggers us and then just leaving it open like that. It's about realizing, you're every single one of us experiences triggers. Some more than others, some are in a different space where, they can feel a trigger and the amount of time it takes for them to feel it and then move through it is shorter time than another, but none is right or wrong. It's just we're all in this space together and we need to start opening up discussions about what to do in real time when this
Hmm.
happens, because again, you can't do enough yoga, you can't eat enough kale and take enough sea moss and bladderwrack for you to never be triggered. Now, again, yes, as we grow, as we expand, as we learn tools and techniques to help us move through this space, yes, the triggers come less. And when they come, they're less intense. And when they come, we can move through them quicker. But make no mistake, they are going to come forever. You're a human having a human experience right here, and it's messy, okay? So I just want that to be clear, right? And so one of the things that I'm passionate about in my sharing is I never want to expose some stuff, I almost cussed. I'm trying to clean up my talk a little bit, but I don't like to just expose things and just leave them there. So I want to leave you guys with practical things that you can do because you will feel triggered, and it's not a matter of if, it's when. But there are things that will empower you and help you as you're feeling triggered. And so I'm going to bounce it over to Eugene. And what I'm going to say right before I pass him the baton is that the first thing that you need to do when you feel triggered, the very first thing that you need to do when you feel triggered is allow yourself to feel triggered, period. Do not resist it. Do not try to get uncomfortable and fidget and, you know, feel like it's going to go away. Allow yourself to feel triggered, because even in the acknowledgement that I feel triggered, that trigger starts losing its grip on you, and you're allowing
Mhm.
that space to come up for healing, clearing the foundation out. So that's just the main thing that I would say first. And then from that space, when you're allowing yourself, you're giving yourself permission to feel triggered. Now we're going to move into some practical steps that you can do. And I'm going to turn it over to Eugene, because, again, he makes the plain truth so obvious. He makes, you know, things that seem, oh my goodness, so simple and easy to digest, and leaves, us with practical things that we can do right here, right now. Things that you can do even if you don't have a laptop, even if you don't have a Abraham
Mhm.
YouTube video to listen to, even if you don't have Jennuine Love to tune into, even if you don't have Eugene to tune into, you can tune into your breath. You always have your breath. And Eugene, I'll turn it to you and let you share. Hey, Anthony, good to have all you guys joining in.
All right. Let's talk a bit about number one, what I feel is like our responsibility to ourselves. I think we're responsible for allowing ourselves to feel, just like you were saying.
Yes.
Um, these things are going to come up because they're supposed to. We're supposed to be battle tested, so to speak. But our ideas and our ability to evolve is also in play all the time.
Yes.
So, like the only way you know you love somebody and they love you is when you go through things. So I've just noticed for myself, when it comes up, like you, I allow myself to feel it. I go, man, whoa, that's fire. I feel the fire of that. There's something there. So I can be upset, I can be mad, or I can be curious. So if I'm curious about what it is about this, then in that curiosity, now I'm thinking to myself, well, I want to learn more. I need to bring myself into a condition that's going to allow for me to gain the most from this situation.
Mhm.
Now, see, I've already made that small. Once I notice that I have power, then to choose, right? But what if, Eugene, what if it's about my mom's and my mom, or what if it's about, sexual abuse and this person is saying, like, I feel that all through my body and there's no turning my mind around it.
Right.
Well, then we have to then look at what is happening to us while we're triggered. What is it physically that's happening? Let me work from the physical, go to the emotional, and then to the mental. So you'll notice that the breath is shallow. That's with stress, that's with anxiety, and most of those things are tied into being
Right.
triggered,
Right.
tied into that
Right.
whole right community.
Mm-hmm.
So the fastest way to do the most for yourself is to slow down your breath rate. A lot of the things that I teach my beginning students revolves around slowing down their breath rate. And when you do that, when you can harmonize your organs, your adrenals with your heartbeat, then what you do is you take the edge off of all of that reactiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and you give your body a platform to help you come to an understanding.
Right.
What do I mean by that? That basically, when you said watch your breath, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to watch how your breath moves through your body. We have a whole system of body here, right? Most of us only breathe from our chest.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's going on. Somebody just said, hey, I don't think that what you're talking about is real and you should do something different. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it either in your chest or you're going to feel it in your abdomen, your gut, right? It's because not only is the brain extending through the nervous system, it's going through the heart and it's all in our intestines.
Right.
It's all there. Like the brain matters everywhere.
Yep.
So what you're thinking literally is moving through your body. So the first thing is to slow down your heart rate. And you do that very easily. And you can do it while having a conversation with someone, literally. Um, there's a breath that you do, let's say through your nose. So you and I are talking, and you say, hey, Eugene, all that yoga and stuff, you can't make $1 million with no yoga. Why don't you go get a real job? You know what I'm saying? Right? And I
Right.
go, it's been said to me before. And I said, oh, really? Okay, well, explain to me what you think a real job is, right? Let's say I'm triggered. I take a deep inhale. I hold my breath. I exhale nice and slow. I do that again. All the while, you may be going off on a tangent, explaining to me why I'm wrong or why I need to believe the way you need to believe. And all that while, I'm constantly keeping my breath rate at a specific rate. And what happens is the adrenals, if in an environment of relaxation, if your heart rate begins to drop, it ceases to recognize any danger. Therefore, it doesn't need to release those adrenals into your blood, which frees up your mind and your emotions to start to work on, number one, why am I feeling this way? Is it valid? Why are they feeling this way? Is that valid? It brings you into the present moment so that you can ask smarter questions.
Mm-hmm.
And not sometimes what we have a tendency to do is people are talking, we're thinking about what we're going to say next. We're thinking about all the things wrong with that. When we really need to just be listening and maintaining our composure through our breath and our posturing.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, remember when we were kids? And okay, slow down. What happened, baby? Okay, hold, count to 10. We're going to be in 1, 2, 3, right? People do that right now to this day. And what they're doing is what? They're getting you to take a breath. They're getting you to slow down that autonomic response of fight or flight. They're getting you to now recognize now what you're talking about, so you have clarity of mind, and to get your emotions in a space that's going to allow for you to speak your truth. Sometimes if what we're thinking is affecting us in a way that makes it hard for us to respond, it's because we can't get past that block. We can't get the words out because we've already been now triggered into this dungeon, right?
Correct.
Which it feels like. You feel like you're
Right.
trapped underneath something, like a weight. So my first thing is breath, and it's through the nose. Now, you do this because the nose filters the air, cools it or warms it, would depend on your environment. But this this technique of breathing through the nose affects the left and the right brain,
Mm-hmm.
the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. This is all nerves. That's where you getting on my nerves comes from. Like, okay, you're getting on my nerves. Literally, people will get on your nerves, and when they're pressed and when they're stressed, you react because you're on my nerves. What this does, and I'm not going to give that away, but what this does is it allows for your nervous system to cool down and become balanced so that you can have critical thought. If we can think critically under pressure, under mental, emotional, or physical duress, then we can conquer anything. And that's what they teach they should be teaching more law enforcement, you know what I'm saying? In the judicial system, because I was a paralegal, so a lot of the training that they would teach the young attorneys, the young associates, would be in working on controlling your breath in specific instances, especially during litigation when you're either defending or prosecuting. You have to have composure. Never let them see you sweat, right? You only sweat because your body's trying to cool down. So if you can cool your body down, you won't sweat, and you'll have mental acuity to then get into the game and emotional content to either empathize or project an emotion that you'd like to influence with, let's say.
Right.
So all that being said, let me bring it back to the practicality. The first thing you do is breathe. The second thing you want to do is check in with what is real for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to be a difficult one because there's instances where people, let's say it is someone that's just trying to get you upset, trying to gaslight you into a situation that they can blame on you and have some type of emotional blackmail. You know how narcissists work in the world. That's a common thing nowadays. So what's true for me though? Is what this person is saying harming me? In this moment, am I in danger?
Mm.
In this moment, even if they're wrong, will that change who I am fundamentally as a human being? And if I'm wrong, right, am I courageous enough to admit it?
Mm.
These are just questions, and there can be any questions, but having the peace of mind and the emotional awareness to ask creates an environment that they get enveloped in.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is when I slow down my breath, when I slow down how I'm taking in and pushing out a part of the environment, when we're breathing, if I'm in the same room as you, we're breathing the same air. When I slow that down and have an intent, they feel that energetic. My aura is connected to my breath.
Mm-hmm.
It's connected to my nervous system. The aura is an extension of the nervous system, period. That energy field, if you look at the nerves in the body, one of those like biological charts, it's like lightning strikes.
Yep.
They're like little veins of lightning. So if that's the case, if I control myself, I control the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So what's true for me then becomes something like, you know what? I'm here for a reason. This was said, this was done. I saw the movie, I heard the song that brought this up for a reason. So let me take back my power and not give it to my animal instinct, my what's it called? The reptilian brain part, right?
Right.
Let me take my power back from the reptilian brain and bring it back to my frontal lobe, bring it back to my conscious evolved self, and begin to really see the situation as it is, right? Even if it's a negative situation, your breath, your emotional awareness, which will bring presence to you, and then how you're thinking about yourself and what's going on is going to shift everything. These 3 points shift everything.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you have given up your position or you're weak or you're a pushover if in fact at the end of the day you walk away in joy and they think they've won but you keep your joy.
Right.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I want to keep my joy at all times.
Right.
I'm not going to give you my joy.
Exactly.
And even if you pull me in a little bit, I'm going to back up and lay back into my joy.
Mm-hmm.
And allow for you to stay where you at and invite you over, but create the space for more joy. So when you bring yourself back to that equilibrium, you create the space for joy, for healing. And most of the time, people like that are toxic can't exist in that space. Won't want to be around you. Will want to leave the space. And ultimately, that could be what you want at the end. I hope I was clear about all the things I said, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's such subtlety. It's such subtlety that you can use against a very uh, obvious or very like aggressive situation. If you stay subtle and intent, power, and in your breath, and yeah. So all of that we got you on that. We got you on the practicalities, but the reasons why I think that you do your mantra work to reprogram the mind, to put in that which we know to be true over and over again until, again, our limbic system, our autonomic functions go right to that good vibe. That's what we want to do. And we can push that in by, I think who said that? Somebody put in practice and discipline. Blair Hudson.
Yeah.
Discipline and practice is the key to growth in every aspect of life. Exactly, Blair. When you can practice and be disciplined in the things that my sister here presents and that I'm going to help recommend, there's you have a space to really learn and to really teach.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an eternal student, but if I have no control of myself, I can't help anyone.
Right.
You know? So,
that is
you know,
the truth. If you don't, you ain't gonna be able to help anyone. And I think that what you're saying is so powerful because it brings the power back to us. Like everything you
Mm-hmm.
just said was about us. It didn't depend on the
Yes.
other person. It didn't depend on how
Yes.
much money we had in the bank and if we had enough money to buy a course. It didn't depend on, where we work at, or, how many kids we have, or if it didn't depend on any of this stuff that we think makes us or fixes us or helps us. All of the
Right.
power, everything that you just shared was in our control. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where the power is at, because a lot of times people want to try to control their environment so that they're not triggered, and
Mm-hmm. Yes.
that might help you for a small amount of time in some small ways, in some small areas, but it is definitely not going to be a long term fix at all.
Mm.
And it always backfires on you. You will never be
Mm-hmm.
able to control your um, outside circumstances, right? But you can always control where you're at and how you respond. And that, you saying in that vibration, actually does clean up circumstances for you. But you trying to come in
Exactly.
there, and control everything, when the one thing that you can control is your vibration. You can control
That's
how
right.
you're, responding and perceiving and receiving what other people are saying. And I love what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it verbatim, but I felt it and received it as like, okay, so what if these people believe this to be true about me? Am I in danger because they
Mm-hmm.
believe that? And is who I am
Exactly.
as a person like
Mm-hmm.
null and void because they believe some BS? No, it's really not. And I think, like what I was saying
Mm.
earlier, where I used to feel like I would have to defend people because I just couldn't stand the thought of them believing that I was doing something that I wasn't doing, especially if it was bad. Like, I don't want you to think that about me. And I would
Right.
feel this overwhelming need to defend myself. And I realized that
Mm-hmm.
stemmed from those feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy, not being
Mm-hmm.
lovable. And when I took that out of it and just realized, I really want you to love me. I think I'm pretty freaking awesome. And I think we could have a lot of fun together. But if you got a low
Mm-hmm.
tolerance for awesome people, I understand you don't want to rock with me. You know what I mean? Whatever. And
I
just
love
kind
it.
of making it more lighthearted instead of making it this
Yeah.
indictment against me that they don't understand or that they
Yes.
don't agree or they don't believe like I do. So I appreciate you touching on that, because that is a part of it too. And also, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like the triggers that come from our own mind, like allowing ourselves to just even get curious about, why am I thinking that? Why do I still think that I'm not
Yeah.
good enough? Where's this coming from? And just get curious about things, not be so
Mm.
serious. And I think that's a key to
Yes.
remember in all of this, is that, I've been asking spirit to show me, how can this be easy and fun? How can this be easy and
Mm-hmm.
fun? And later, the same day I started, kind of asking this, praying this, I did some stupid thing that I do that's like a thought process that's really not beneficial to anything I want to accomplish in life. And I caught myself
Mm-hmm.
doing it. And in that moment that I caught myself, I busted out laughing. And I was like, there
I
I
love
go,
it.
doing that thing again. And I felt so
Mm-hmm.
thankful to Spirit for showing me it can be easy and fun. It does it, like you said earlier, play, have more fun with things.
Mm-hmm.
And in that space, triggers do even come up less and less. But anyway, I think
Mm-hmm.
we covered everything that we had in our notes, and I'm trying to see, we got like 10 minutes left.
Okay.
I see all you guys on here. Thank you. I will definitely come back and respond to the comments once we get off the air. So many of my sweet, beautiful peoples are in here. Um, so we do have, for all of you guys who stayed on, we have some giveaway gifts. I am going to be sharing with you all. It's a guided meditation for self-love. Um, Everything comes back to
Mm,
self-love, even having the wherewithal to apply what you've learned here tonight comes from the core of I love myself enough to learn healthier ways to deal with the BS in life, you know.
mm,
It's messy being a
yes.
human, and I understand that. And also, I love myself enough to make myself and my joy my priority, and really be in that space where I'm not making another person responsible for my peace. I'm not making another person
Hmm.
responsible for my sense of well-being. I'm taking ownership for that. You know what I mean? And as a result,
Hmm.
we become better people, better partners, all of these things because we're taking responsibility for ourselves, because nobody wants to be assigned a job that they know that they cannot do, and nobody can ever be your inner being. So stop
Mm,
expecting people to pat you all the way through life and make life in this place where you're never triggered. It's not your spouse's job to do that. It's not your employer's job to do that. It's not your mother's job to do that. It's nobody's job, not even God's job, to take you through
mm,
life and not let you get triggered. It's your job to apply these tools, or if you find another one that works for you, that helps you maintain your peace when these triggers come. And you will feel empowered when you do this. This is a job that you
mm.
want to take on, because your peace comes back, your joy comes back, like our brother shared, your vitality comes back, guys. You know, a lot of
Yep.
this sluggishness and crap that we're feeling is because we're just like, so definitely, put into account. And like I said, I'm going to be I'll drop the link in the comments. I'm not that tech savvy, so I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm still running my mouth. But when we get done, I'm going to drop it in the comments, and that way you guys will have access to. It's a guided meditation. It was completely inspired. It's very powerful. Every time I do it, I'm just like,
Mm,
wow, like it takes me somewhere. So I do want to share that
mm.
with you guys. And then Eugene, what do you want to give us?
All right, fam. So we gotta get busy. I'm a teacher. I mean, we
Yes,
gotta make you do stuff
yes,
now.
man, he lit a fire up
So what?
under me. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, especially the servants. I'm double hard on the servants. We got a lot of people. We got our families here, and they need us to help them remember
Right,
what's going on.
right.
So I've put together a 15-minute meditation, and it is something that is it's tight. Like my executive clientele like tight stuff. They don't want to do a 2.5 hour Zen astral projection.
Right.
They need something that can work right before they get in the office and they're in the car, like stuff like that. So I put together a 15-minute meditation, and it is a PDF as well as a video that explains the PDF step by step, all the parts of it, so you get it. There's no excuses. You can bang it out, but it addresses everything we talked about. The physicality of it. There's an exercise for your nervous system. There's an exercise for the emotions, and at the end, there's a way of getting your mind clear, dropping in your intention, and then going out and unleashing yourself onto the world. So not only, and this is why I enjoy what you do so much, my sisters, because it's not just, hey, you gotta be the light, and you the light, yeah, bye. Like what the hell? That
Right,
no, wait, I'm still abused, or I'm still not feeling I'm still here,
right.
and I need something. So this is a way to set at least 15 minutes out of your day, out of the 24 hours you have.
Talk about it.
You can put 15
Talk
minutes of
about it.
power in there
Yes.
that'll change the remainder of those hours.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So out of that 24 hours, this 15 minutes is packed with everything you would need to get mental, emotional, and physical clarity,
Mhm.
strength in yourself. Rely on what the universe has provided you with, this beautiful equipment to help us sense our environment and to help us send out sensory information in the environment. And we're here to spread as much love and joy as we can,
Yeah.
especially in the midst of so much. So, all that being said, it's a meditation. I'll drop the link in
Okay.
right now
Thank you for doing
because
that.
I've been doing mad tech stuff all day.
Yeah, you're the tech
Uh,
savvy guy. I'm just,
and you, oh, it's all
it
good.
took me
You look,
five
you're
minutes to
there.
figure out how to get you on the Facebook Live. Jesus,
It
Oh,
took Facebook 10 minutes to put me on. It's all good. No, but I just want to let you and all your people know, everybody that watches this video, that you're listening to two people that love humanity, that
yes.
have and continue to push through our obstacles, but we love humans and we love to serve, and we were put here to do that. So you'll never see me on a whole bunch of Facebook lives. I'm only on certain people's lives doing certain things because I'm guided to where I know the most help is needed and I know the most effect will be had. So it is just my great pleasure to serve all of your community. If you go on the website, you see something you like, you want to know more information, you just let me know that you're a part of the Genuine Love tribe, and you got love from me. But follow this sister, support this sister. She's doing so much for us. She's a divine feminine that's standing up for the divine feminine and for the divine masculine, which is so important that we're not left behind with all this. Like we're here together. We can work it out together. And I just wanted to make sure that I showed up. So
Yeah.
show up and support people that do this. And you get free stuff. Look, booyah.
Booyah.
And take advantage of that 30 minutes with Jenny. She's amazing. Please take advantage of that and do the meditations.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. It's been an honor to do this with you. And like I said at the beginning, thank you for seeing me and believing in me and stepping up to support me and bring your wisdom and share it on this call, Facebook Live event. And anybody who has any questions, yeah, just feel free to drop them. We'll try to answer them as the evening goes on. I do want to respect y'all's time. And I think we're right at about 10 o'clock. So you're welcome, Brianna. Any last words you got? You good? You feel complete?
I feel complete. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, brother Mark and sister Brianna, and everybody that showed up. Let's make joy the new currency. I know that sounds corny, and people use corny like us, but we can do it. Like we want it. Everybody wants it. We desire it. We crave that joy. We think we can't have it. We feel we don't deserve it. But just create small pockets of it. 15 minutes. Jump on a call for 30 minutes and experience the joy that Jen's going to give you. Like this, just get small pockets, and those little small wins add up. I'll just say that. Let the small wins start to add up, and see how universe is supporting you. You know.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you, everybody. I see all the hearts going up. I appreciate y'all taking this
Ooh.
time and spending it with us, but also know that you were touched in ways that you might not even know right at this very moment. But I know and trust and believe that you will see evidence and that you will be blessed tremendously for making yourself and your growth a top priority. All right, I'm sending you all
Mm.
so much love. Thank you, Eugene, and I
That
will
was so
see y'all
beautiful.
later.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Jennifer.
Bye bye.
Blessings, y'all.